Good morning, children. How are you? Hope you are doing well. Okay. So, today, as part of our class, I am here to introduce another topic under our Communication and Life Skills 310P. Okay. Are you prepared to listen? Okay. So, earlier, we have completed the topic attitude, we have completed goal setting, and recently we have completed time management even. Now today I am here with a new topic, and it is about problem solving skills and decision making skills. Okay, so now hope you will listen to it very attentively. Now moving to our next slide, let me announce the topic. Just now I have announced to you. Look here, what's the title today? So, problem solving and decision making skills. So, it's a very familiar term, problem solving. You know what's meant by a problem, and you know what's meant by solving a problem, isn't it? But still, most of us, we fail to solve many problems we face in our day to day life. So, it's all about that, and also we fail to take a decision, isn't it? So, decision making is also a skill, and solving a problem is also a skill. So, today, now before discussing the topic, as usual, let us first discuss the objectives of our particular unit today. Coming to the objectives of this lesson today, now I can tell you that by the end of this lesson, certainly you will achieve or attain these objectives. And at the end of this unit, the student, you will be able to look at the first objective, learn how to solve the problems. How to solve the problems smoothly by using decision making skills. Okay? And second is learn how to manage the adverse situations in personal life and professional life. Because everybody will be facing, always the life doesn't run smooth, isn't it? We will be facing some adverse situations, and how to manage those adverse situations, whether it is your personal life or whether it is your professional life, you will learn to manage. And the third objective is you will categorize the problems and analyze them in a positive way. So categorizing the problems is something important, and analyzing them with a positive optimistic attitude is also something important, okay, that you will learn. And the fourth objective is know the barriers to the solutions to problems. So in the process of finding the solutions to the problems you face, there may be many obstacles or hurdles you face, or many barriers. There's a chance, probability, that you may face many barriers in the process of finding solutions to the problems you face. It may be your personal or professional. So how you will be knowing what barriers you will be facing and how to overcome the barriers also. This all you will learn by the end of this unit. I hope so. Now moving to our next slide. So coming to what's a problem. So before that, let me give some introduction. Okay, here it is. What is a problem? A situation, a person, look at the slide. A situation, person or thing that needs attention and needs to be dealt with or solved. Problem is a situation, or problem sometimes may be a person also. Sometimes a problem may be a thing also. And that problem needs your attention. And if you simply concentrate or focus or look at or identify the problem and leave it, will it work? No. You have to deal with that problem, and there is a need for you to deal with that problem. And if you simply deal with the problem without attaining at a solution, will it be okay? No. You have to finally find a solution to the particular problem, and the problem should be resolved, isn't it? Otherwise it will remain as a problem forever. So now problem can be said as a situation or a person or a thing that needs attention and it needs to be dealt with or it needs to be solved. Followed? Hope I explained it. Now let me tell something else about what actually is a problem. So a problem is any unpleasant situation. Here I have just in the slide I have written a situation, but the situation is not a pleasant situation. Problem certainly will be any unpleasant situation. and that prevents people from achieving what they want to achieve. You want to achieve something, but you are facing an unpleasant situation. Because of that unpleasant situation, which we call as a problem, you may fail to achieve what you want to achieve. Followed? So any activity to eliminate, so we do, because in the process of resolving that problem, we ourselves, we act upon that problem in our own way. And that activity which we do, okay, that activity which we perform to get rid of that problem, that we say it as problem solving, our title, our topic. Followed? So problem solving is an activity which we do so that we can eliminate the problem we have faced, and the problem is the unpleasant situation. Okay, so now coming to problem solving. Yes, it's a skill, because our lab, it's now we are discussing these days about some topics under life skills. So attitude was a life skill, time management was a life skill, setting a goal setting was a life skill, and even problem solving is also a kind of life skill which you need to imbibe or learn or acquire. Followed? So it's our ability, it's a skill to solve in an effective and timely manner. So certainly it's a skill. Okay, problem solving is another important life skill. And it's very important, because you have to acquire that life skill, because for every individual needs it. That particular skill is needed by every individual, or it may be any organization also. Every organization at certain phase of their time, at some instance, they may face a problem. They may have to deal an unpleasant situation. So they need to solve it with some intelligence. So that skill, that ability, we call it as a problem solving skill. And if you acquire that skill, there will be many benefits, So if you acquire that skill, you can make the impossible possible. You can make a standout. So that will increase your confidence, because you will become more confident that in future, if you face similar problems or some other problems, then you will be confident enough to face or tackle any problem. So that is a skill which is you are supposed to learn or acquire. Followed? Okay, because it's a process of finding a solution to a problem. It's a mental process, It's a mental process, and problem solving, it involves discovering the problem or analyzing the problem and finally solving the problem. Now what will be the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal of problem solving is so that you will overcome the obstacles, so you'll find a solution, and that solution will best resolve that particular issue, that particular problem. And what all you need is some creativity, some insight, isn't it? You should have some insight, some creativity, some critical thinking, some reasoning, some logical thinking, some analyzing intelligence. Okay, you should be able to analyze it. So these all are what all are needed to resolve that particular problem, and that we call it as problem solving skill. It's a mental process, isn't it? It involves many steps. Okay. Now moving to our next slide. So defining a problem. Here, what is a problem? Just now I told you. What should be happening here? So what is actually happening? Actually, everything should be pleasant, isn't it? What should be happening? But what is actually happening? Something unpleasant is happening. There is a gap, and that gap is nothing but the problem. Something should be happening, but something is actually happening. So there is some problem. That gap, we call it as a problem. Followed? Okay. Now moving to our next slide. So decision making. We have to make a decision. In order to get rid of that problem, we have to make a decision. Not only when we face a problem or tackle a problem, in many situations in our lifetime, we need to make different decisions. Okay? Because this is also a topic. So let me, so here I want to give a brief introduction of this decision making. Later again, in detail, we will discuss problem solving as well as decision making again. Here just a brief introduction. The act of narrowing down the possibilities, choosing a course of action, and determining the action's potential consequences. Okay, decision making is nothing but it's an act of narrowing down the possibilities and choosing a course of action and determining the action's potential consequences. So it appears to be very complex, but when I go on explaining later, you will understand. So some factors affect decision making, like your own perception. Your own perception also, it's a factor which will affect decision making. Okay, and your priority, your acceptability, your demands, your style, the resources you have, the judgment you make. So some factors which influence your decision making are, or which affect your decision making are, your perception, your priority, your acceptability, and your demands, your style, your resources, judgment, etc. Moving to the next slide. So coming back again to the problem solving methods. There are many methods here. Look, each one has its own way. It's an image just. Now moving to our next slide. So first, coming to the problem. Identify the problem. Okay. So it's not as simple as it sounds. Here just I said identify the problem. But do you think it is that simple? No. It's not as simple as it sounds. So in some cases, people might mistakenly identify the wrong source of a problem. Sometimes we think that something is the root of that particular problem, but that actually is not the problem there. So in identifying only, we will be mistaken, and we will identify the wrong source of some problem. And they will and even we don't know, because it was some mistake, and we consider that as a problem, and we'll make attempts to solve it also. Finally, the result will be, there will not be any result, and even if we get some result, that will be something useless, inefficient. Okay, so we have to form, or we have to frame a strategy to identify the problem also, and we have to have a separate approach. So approach varies. From situation to situation. It depends upon the situation, and sometimes your approach towards that particular problem varies, and it depends upon the individual's preferences also. So here, framing a proper strategy and framing a proper approach, your approach towards the situation, in the sense towards a particular problem, and which will vary from individual to individual according to your preferences. So that is also something to be considered a lot, because problem solving in real world situations, it requires a great deal of resourcefulness. So we need a great deal of resourcefulness we should have, and we need to have flexibility also, and we should also have continuous interaction with many people, persons or situations, so that we can deal with that problem tactfully and effectively. Okay, so it's not that easy. It's not identifying a problem, identifying the root of the problem is not easy, and even problem solving is also not easy. Okay, because we will find many solutions in the process of problem solving also. We will find many alternative solutions to that particular problem. Problem will be only, it may be only one problem, but we after taking the guidance or suggestions of many, or when we ourselves try to resolve or try to locate a particular solution or many alternative solutions, we have to evaluate them also, and finally we have to select the best alternative or best solution to that particular problem. So it involves many steps. It's not that easy task. So one thing is, you have to identify the problem in a proper way, and that root of that problem should be correct. Okay, so it's a very big task. Now, okay, so something else we shall discuss in the sense, okay, let me tell you my experiences. So once I happened to attend a seminar, or it was about motivational speaker, and when I happened to listen to him, in the introduction he said that, so it was long back, he said to the audience, so I was listening, because I love listening to motivational speeches. Okay, so he said, in the beginning of his speech only, he said to the audience, there were around 1,000 people, and he was saying to the audience that, you people, you look pretty calm and relaxed. It seems no one here has any problem, he was saying. So then he asked, does anyone here have any problem? That motivational speaker, he asked, isn't it? He said that you are all of you appear to be very pretty, very relaxed, very calm, and I think there is no one here with a problem. So please, why don't you tell me, does anyone here have any problems? He asked the audience. Then so then later he asked, well, who does not have problems? Who does not have problems? So everybody, Everybody raised their hands because everybody has got some problems. So when he posed that question to the audience, everybody automatically they raised their hands. So then he asked, even I too raised my hand. So then he asked, how many of you would like to get rid of your problems? He posed again the second question. How many of you want to get rid of your problems? Isn't it? Will there be anyone who don't want to get rid of their problems? So everybody again raised their hands. Followed? Okay. So that was the second question. So now again everybody raised their hands. Then he stated, on my way here to this congregation, to this meet, I came across a place where people were lying in peace, totally relaxed and totally stretched out. So they had no problems. They had no problems whatsoever. So how many people would you like to know where this place is? So he said that way. Then everybody again raised their hands. So to everyone's surprise, he said, 2 blocks away from here, there is a cemetery, graveyard, there is a cemetery where people are lying stretched out, totally relaxed and without problems, he said. Then he asked, how many people would you like to get rid of their problems now? Now you tell me, how many want to get rid of your problems? He again asked. Nobody now raised their hands. Even I too did not raise my hand. Okay. So what he said thereafter was really insightful, thoughtful, insightful. Because problems are a sign of life. Followed? Problems are always a sign of life. So long as we are alive, we shall have problems. So the day we have no problems is the day we will be dead, isn't it? Okay, shall I tell again? So, problems are a sign of life. So long as we are alive, so we shall have problems. When we will not have any problem? When? Tell me. It will be the day when we are dead. Followed? It will be the day when we are dead. So, that was something funny. Yes, it's true. Exactly, it is true. What he said was true. Okay? So, now the only thing we can do, what can we do? We have to face. We cannot solve all our problems. But certainly, we can handle them, isn't it? We cannot. Definitely we cannot say that we can solve all the problems. We can't say that. Because we are not that talented. We can't tackle all the problems. But what we can do, we can handle some of them. Certainly we'll be handling them. At least few. Okay. So now one thing we can do is, what one thing we can do? We can say that, God, grant me the serenity. God, we can pray saying that, God, grant me the serenity to accept the serenity. God, grant me the serenity. Okay. So to accept the things that I cannot change, or courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference. So what do you mean by serenity? So it's a state of being calm. It's a state of being peaceful. It's a state of being untroubled by anything. Followed? A state of mind. Our mind will be in a peaceful mood. A state of being calm, peaceful and untroubled by anything or anyone. So we can just pray to God saying that, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. Because I cannot change some things. The only thing I can do is I can accept them. And give me the courage to change the things that I can. If at all, if we can change some things, give me that courage to change the things which I can. And give me the wisdom to know the difference. That alone we can do. We can just pray. We can just pray to God. Isn't it? So there are some things. So God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change is, there are some things in life that we just cannot change. They are beyond our control. And they are called, what we call them as, they are fate. We call them as simply as fate. Can we change our fate? Though everyone is an architect of his own fate to some extent, but we cannot change our fate, isn't it? So they are beyond our control. For example, I didn't choose my parents. I didn't choose my parents. You didn't choose your parents. No one chooses their parents. Okay. So I also, or you also, didn't decide where I was going to be born. Okay. I neither choose the color of my skin nor my height I chose. I want to be 5'6" or 5'8", but I'm just 5'2". I can't. Isn't it? I didn't choose my gender. So I want to be a boy. Okay, male gender. But I can't. Can I? No. I didn't choose my gender, my date of birth also. Okay, I was born on the last date, but I actually want to be born on the first day of a month. So how can I? Or no, nor I can change my date of death. I don't know when I will be dying, isn't it? So these are some things which we call it as fate, which I cannot change. The only thing I can do is I have to accept. So that's the way things are. That's the way things are. Sometimes people are born with a physical deformity, isn't it? Sometimes bad things do happen to good people only for no fault of their own. It's fate. It's called fate, isn't it? So what wrong did they do? Who knows? So we cannot, for example, we cannot choose the cards that are dealt to us, that are given to us, distributed to us. We can only choose how to play the game, isn't it? So just like we cannot choose the direction of the wind also. Can you change? No. But only thing we can do is we can choose how to set the sail. We can set the sail, but we cannot change the direction of the wind. Sometimes life gives us a lemon. So the choice is ours to either cry or make a lemonade. So keep in mind that we need to strike a balance between what we need to accept and what we can change. Some things can't be changed, cannot be changed. We have to strike a balance. Okay. So because often we keep fighting things. We keep fighting the things that we just cannot change or that are beyond our control. But we have to accept them, We have to accept them very graciously, isn't it? So if we don't accept, if we fail to accept, what will happen? We will feel stressful, isn't it? We are inviting or bringing stress into our life unnecessarily. Instead of simply, we are supposed to accept some things which we cannot change graciously. We have to just accept because it's all fate. Considering it as fate, we have to accept. But we don't tend to accept, and in that process, we will become stressful and we will be inviting stress into our lives. Okay. So here the appropriate behavior is acceptance and surrendering ourselves. So surrendering, what's wrong in surrendering? It doesn't mean that you are defeated, isn't it? Surrendering, does it mean that you are defeated? No, not always. Sometimes we need to surrender. So because we have accepted it graciously only, isn't it? So we also have the opposite choice of not accepting. If you don't accept, what happens? Just now I told you, we'll feel stressful, we'll get upset. Followed? Okay. So now let me tell you something about Helen Keller. Helen Keller, do you know who she is? She's an American author, a political activist, and she's a lecturer. So she was the first deaf and blind person to earn a bachelor degree in arts, BA. So now she was once asked, in an interview she was once asked, how come you made such contributions to the world in spite of being blind, deaf and mute? Okay. How come you made such contributions? She has made many contributions. How could you make many contributions to the world in spite you are blind, you are deaf, you are mute? But how come you made such contributions? Then she communicated. It was not in spite of, but because of. So, in spite of being blind, in spite of being deaf, in spite of being mute, she didn't make so many contributions. But because of being blind, because of being deaf, because of being mute, isn't it? She took her life as a challenge, and that's the reason, okay, she contributed so many. Had she not been blind or deaf and mute, she probably might not have made such contributions to the world. Okay? So, she has accepted it graciously. Yes, because she can't change those things. Can she? She can't change her physical deformalities. So we have to accept it in a peace of mind with serenity. Okay. So that's the thing. That's why I had to cite that a particular example. And the second part of the prayer, courage, give me courage to change the things that I can. So if I can change it, then why brood about it? Give me that courage and guts so that I can change it. I will change it because just give me some courage. Okay. Now, if we look at the third part of the prayer, so give me some wisdom to know the difference. So there should not be any confusion between what I can change and what I cannot change. You have to differentiate what can be changed, what cannot be changed. Then give me that wisdom to know, to differentiate, isn't it? So to know the difference between what the things which can be changed and which cannot be changed, so that it will help. If you give me that wisdom, that helps us make the right choices, isn't it? So I can make my life a peaceful, something peaceful. So because everything in life falls into two categories only: things we can do something about and things we can do nothing about. Okay. So according to a philosophy, we figure out that if we can do something about it, then why worry? If we can do something about something which can be changed, then why should we worry? And if we can do nothing about it, then why again worry? Isn't it? Because it is beyond us. When you cannot change it, leave it. So when you can change something, why to worry? When you cannot change something which can never be changed, then again why worry? So because it's beyond us. Followed now? It's a philosophy. It's a philosophy. Now because men are not prisoners of fate, but only prisoners of their own minds. Isn't it? We should think that we are not prisoners of our fate, but we are only prisoners of our own minds. Isn't it? So all the external circumstances, often they are the result of our thought process only. Isn't it? We can't control anything 100%. Sometimes, because life is both a result of fate as well as free will also. Isn't it? So if we accept graciously what cannot be changed and change courageously what can be, then we will be very happy and we will be very successful. So learn to do that. Learn to do that. And because life is full of choices and also full of compromises. So it seems to be something contradictory, isn't it? Life is full of choices as well as full of compromises. Isn't it? It's not a contradiction. It appears to be a contradiction, but it's really not. Because compromise is a choice. Even compromise is also a choice only. It's a choice for us, left for us. Every choice we make and every decision we take, every choice we make and every decision we take, there is something to be paid off. Okay. For example, if I treat you badly, I have chosen to be treated badly. Isn't it? If I treat you badly, you will treat me in turn. You will reciprocate the same thing. So I have chosen to be treated badly. Isn't it? I have made that particular choice. And if I overeat, it's a choice I make. I have chosen to be obese. And if I smoke, I have chosen to invite something cancerous or something like that. If I lie, I have chosen to fall in my own eyes, isn't it? Lying is something falling down in our own eyes. And if I drink and drive, then I have chosen to invite an accident. And if I treat others with disrespect, then I have also chosen that I should be treated like that only, isn't it? If I am careless, I have chosen to become negligent. And if I exercise, I have chosen to strengthen my own body, physically fit. Okay. If I have positive thoughts, I have chosen to be mentally strong. That's why always I have some positive thinking only, positive thoughts. Isn't it? If I am honest, I have chosen to be trustworthy. And if I eat some healthy food, because I have chosen to invite good health. So we could go on, and life is all a combination of choices and compromises. Okay. So now we are free till we make choices. And after that, the choice controls us. And we don't have any more choice. Isn't it? Until we make choices, it's under our control. And once you make a choice, then choice will control you. And you don't have any other choice to control the choice. Followed what I said? Okay. So if you make a series of positive choices, then the result will be success. And if you make a series of negative choices, then that will result in a failure. So one thing here what you understood, your success or your failure, it's a result of the choice you made, your own choice. Isn't it? Because all through our life, every day we make hundreds of choices. The kind of work we do, or the kind of friends we have, or the places we move to, or the food we eat, how much we eat, the clothes we wear, or the time we go to bed, and whether we exercise or we don't. So these are all our choices only, isn't it? If we choose not to study for the examination to fail, then we failed because of the choice we made not to work hard, isn't it? So sometimes choices we make by default are as important as the choices we make by design. So you have to live by design, not by default. Okay. And if the consequences are bad, we have to bear them. We have to bear them. Followed? Okay. So now the thing is how to improve that skill. What's it? Problem solving skill. Now planning to learn or making effort to learn this problem solving skill is also a choice which you make yourself. Now why should we improve that particular skill? Why should we acquire? Why should we improve the so-called skill called problem solving skill? Okay? Why? Because we have to think when we face a problem. We have to think that problem as our enemy, and that enemy which is supposed to be defeated. And we have to detach ourselves from it. So always if you get attached to the problem, that will make you stressful. So you have to detach yourself from it. And you have to analyze the problem. Here identify the problem is a process. And moving to our next slide. You have to understand the problem. And you have to analyze it. How to solve, you have to think. And before that, understanding, in the process of understanding only, there comes the analyzing it also. So analyze it in parts, not as a whole. So you have to break the problem into some parts, and then you have to tackle with each step by step you have to tackle. In this sense, portion by portion you have to tackle. First break it into parts so that it will become an easy task for you. Then tackle with the different steps or different portions. Then you have to investigate. You have to be very investigative. In the process of solving the problem, you have to be very investigative. Or I can say you should be very inquisitive. What do you mean by inquisitive? Investigative, So inquisitive. What do you mean by inquisitive? You should be very curious. You have to be very curious. You have to show interest. Having or showing interest in learning something. That we say it as curiosity or something like inquisitive nature. So you have to be very investigative. You have to be very inquisitive. And also, when you are unable to resolve a particular problem, then you have to be open to suggestions. Your friends, your relatives, somebody else who is able to handle or tackle that particular problem, if they suggest you, you have to be open to suggestions. You have to listen to them. And if you think somebody has suggested a right solution to that particular problem, you should be very ready to accept that particular suggestion. Because sometimes, others' contributions, because you are already suffering with that problem, your brain may not be that sharp to find an effective solution for that particular problem. You will become blank, isn't it? So sometimes others' contributions may help you to some extent. Okay. So also it will save your time. Or our time. Okay. So for example, let me tell you about a small problem which we daily, in our day-to-day life, we face that particular problem. Moving to our next slide. Understanding the process, ask questions. You have to question yourself about the problem. And you have to restate the problem in your own words. Next. Moving to our next slide. You have to, just now I told you, you have to explain the problem to somebody else. What do you have to do? You have to explain the problem to somebody else, because somebody may contribute some suggestion to you and it may help you a lot. Okay. So moving to our next slide. Sometimes you have to change the location. So if you go and roam somewhere in a peaceful location, there you, in a peace of mind, in a state of serenity, you may arrive at some solution to that particular problem. At least to avoid stress, to get rid of stress out of the problem, you can change the location even. Okay. So the one thing is you should have a positive attitude. So a positive attitude may not solve every problem, but it makes solving any problem a more pleasant experience. It's a quote by Grant Fairley. So, what is given here? Your attitude should be optimistic. You should have a positive attitude, because it's not that your attitude will solve every problem you face, but in the process, if you have an optimistic attitude, then you will have some pleasant experience. Okay, now moving to the next slide. Focus on the solution. It's a very important thing. You have to focus on the solution and not on the problem. Okay, moving to the next slide. I told you the 3 C's of life. Choices, just now we discussed about choices, chances, changes, things which you can change, which you cannot change, choices you make. Okay, the 3 C's of life. Choices, chances, changes. You must make a choice to take a chance, or your life will never change. The 3 C's, what are they? Choices, chances, changes. You must make a choice to take a chance, or your life will never change. Zig Ziglar, quote by Zig Ziglar. Okay, moving to the next slide. There are no problems, only solutions if you actually focus, because every problem will have a solution. And moving to the next slide. Solve the problem or leave the problem. Do not live with the problem. Okay, how good it is? Solve the problem, or if you are unable to solve, at least you leave the problem. Don't take it to mind. Okay, but do not live with the problem. Very good. Okay, next, moving to the next slide. Opportunities are problems in search of solutions. So every opportunity you get, it's a problem, because when you take up that opportunity, you are taking up that problem, and in that process you will find some solutions, and you will, day by day, you will become more confident. So opportunities are problems only, because every opportunity there will be some obstacles in making use of that opportunity to the maximum, isn't it? So now, next, moving to our next slide. Stay away from negative people. They have a problem for every solution. When I taught you about attitude, there I have discussed this particular point also. You have to be very close to positive people, because positive people have a solution for every problem. But here, negative people, you have to stay away from them, because they have a problem for every solution. So avoid being with them. Okay. Now moving to our next slide. Count your blessings, not your problems. You are blessed with many. Then why don't you bother about your blessings rather than always brooding your problems? So sometimes you sit calm and count your blessings, and all the time not your problems. So moving to the next slide. Here I am discussing all the quotes. Okay. Complaining about a problem without proposing a solution is called whining. Okay. Simply, unnecessarily, always complaining. Teddy Roosevelt. So you have to propose a solution that will work, isn't it? Okay, next, moving to the next slide. You know who is he? Einstein. Okay, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Okay, so always don't try to solve all the problems with the same thinking. Sometimes we have to change our thinking and mindset, because no two problems are identical. Followed? Okay, moving to the next slide. So life is a journey with problems to solve and lessons to learn, but most of all, experiences we get, and those experiences are to enjoy. Once again I repeat, life is a journey. Life is a journey with problems to solve and lessons to learn. But most of all the time, we gain many experiences, and those experiences are to enjoy. Okay. Now moving to the next slide. When you find no solution to a problem, it's probably not a problem to be solved, but rather a truth to be accepted. Yes, we have discussed some things cannot be changed. So when you don't find, after tedious effort, all the efforts you have put in to find a solution to a particular problem, but still you are unable to find a solution to a particular problem, then you have to come to a conclusion that it might not be a problem to be solved. So, but rather it's a truth, I think. Let me accept it. What's wrong? Graciously you have to accept it. Okay. Next, moving to the next slide. You don't have to defend or explain your decisions to anyone. It's your life. Live it without apologies. Okay. Sometimes if you take some decision, you need not explain your decisions to anyone. So before that, before discussing about this slide, let me tell you still something more, some more points about some actually about problems only. So I told you that for example in our day-to-day life, I told you, and again I stopped talking about that. Okay, some problem which you face very often, even myself also. So now a problem here. So you are always late to work, and you're thinking yourself, so never I should be late. You're thinking, but still, because you are on your journey throughout, because you are getting late. Most often you are getting late. If at all, if you are getting late, then you will be getting your boss or somebody, your executive in the institution or some office, he will scold you. Certainly he will scold you. Okay, sometimes he will even give you a memo also. Okay, so now that's a problem. Now you have to get rid of the problem. Then what you have to do, you have to solve that particular problem, isn't it? So you have to think, you have to identify the problem. So why I am late to work, why I am being late to work. Okay, then you have to recall why you have to think what might be the reason. You have to think, you have to brood. Then you will recall that I always click the snooze button, and just I want to go to sleep, go on sleeping for more time. When the alarm, after listening to the alarm sound in your mobile or Android or alarm clock, okay, you always, what you do, you click the snooze button, and you, because you want to go on sleep, you want to sleep for some more time. Then again another question you have to pose yourself, why do I want to go on sleeping? Because I feel so tired in the morning, that's why I want to sleep for more time. You know that you have to go to work, but still you go on because you feel tired, you go on sleeping. Okay, then why do I feel so tired? Another question you have to pose yourself, because I slept very late the night before. Because you slept very late the night before, in the morning you are unable to wake up, isn't it? That's making you to click the snooze button, isn't it? So why did I sleep late? Again another question you have to pose yourself. Because I was busy scrolling, looking into the Facebook and other apps, or playing some game like that. So you were very busy, that's why you avoided sleep, and then you slept very late, isn't it? So now you have to dig out the root of the problem, isn't it? What you have to dig out the root, the problem. What's the root? Because you were busy scrolling Facebook, so FB or any social app. So that is the reason for your going to bed very late. That is in turn responsible for all this, isn't it? So the solution, probable solution, is quitting FB, surfing endlessly at night. That you have to quit. That you have to something avoid. Surfing endlessly at night, that is something you are supposed to avoid. And even you have to quit, or you make a minimum usage of all the apps or something which you are very busy doing. Okay, you have to go to bed early, then automatically you can wake early in the morning, isn't it? So you have found a solution, a small problem, isn't it? So here in this way, every problem, whether it is small or big, it has in it the seeds of its own solution. The only thing, you have to identify it properly, analyze it properly, understand it properly, and arrive at the alternative solutions properly. And finally, you have to choose a proper solution to that particular problem, whether it is small or big. Okay. And if you are unable to find a solution, then leave it, accept it gracefully. Okay. So a problem clearly stated actually is a problem half solved. Sometimes they cannot identify their problem itself. So if at all, if a problem is clearly understood and stated, that is half resolved, like something well begun is half done. Okay. So avoiding a problem doesn't solve it, because life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. It's not a problem to be solved, it's a reality. You have to experience it, you have to face some problems, but you have to arrive at the probable solutions. So we are faced by great opportunities brilliantly. And those are not actually opportunities. They are some problems disguised as opportunities. Followed now. They are problems, they are disguised as some opportunities. So we are faced by great opportunities, and they are brilliantly disguised as some insolvable problems. So what do most people do? They spend more time. they spend more energy going around problems than in trying to solve them. Instead of trying, they go around some problems. So we have to welcome every problem as an opportunity. And each moment is a great challenge. The best thing ever happened to you. Every moment you have to think that this is the best thing ever happened to me. So the more difficult the problem, the greater the challenge will be. The greater the challenge in working it out. Okay. So the problem is not that there are problems. So the problem is not that there are problems. The problem is that you're thinking that you're having a problem is a problem. Followed? Did you follow what I said now? You're thinking that you are having a problem is actually a problem. The problem is not the real problem there. You're thinking that you are having a problem is a problem. Followed? Okay. So now understand that most problems are a good sign. And you have to think that, you have to understand that problems indicate that progress is being made, wheels are turning, you are moving towards your goals. So, and you should be aware that when you have no problems, then you are not really if at all, if you don't have really got any problem, then you are not progressing in your life in the sense. So because when we can get rid of our problems, only when we die, isn't it? Okay. So problems are like landmarks of progress. You always think that problems are like landmarks of progress. Followed? So if your thinking will be like that, then never a problem can become a problem. Followed? Followed. Hope you understood what I said. Okay, now, so the only thing is you have to make a wise decision. You have to make it. So decision making is very important. The second part of our topic today. Oh, time flies. Okay. Now look here. You don't have to defend or explain when you take a decision to anyone because it's your life. So you have to live it without any apologies. Okay. Now moving to next slide. Sometimes it's the smallest decisions that can change your life forever. Okay. So in the journey of life, if you want to start effectively the journey of life, we have to define our values, and sometimes we have to make some timely decisions, and timely actions also we have to make, because we are the CEO of our own life. We are the CEO of our life, and we have to take decisions befitting our own position. So sometimes we have to stand up for something, and standing up for something or sitting down, they both take some courage. But knowing when to do so, when to stand, when to sit, so that something is related to wisdom. Something related to wisdom. Followed? Okay. So sometimes it's the smallest decisions that can change your life forever. Okay. Now moving to the next slide. So when you can't solve the problem, you have to manage it also sometimes, isn't it? Okay. This slide should be somewhere else. Now moving to the next slide. Your attention, please. No one is coming to save you. This life is 100% your responsibility. So you have to please plan accordingly. No one will come to your rescue, isn't it? No one will save you. We ourselves, we have to. We have to. Okay. So now coming to decision making, let us discuss something about decision making. Let me tell you. Now I'll tell you, it's not a story actually, an incident. So once the chairman of a billion-dollar company, he wanted to hire a CEO. He wanted to hire whom? A CEO. So then he decided a person to be a CEO, and he didn't hand over the letter. But before that, he arranged a special lunch, some party. And in that party, then after everybody were seated comfortably, and this person, the chairman and the CEO, they comfortably sat. They ordered some before starter we ordered some soup, isn't it? So when the soup was served, the CEO, he started sprinkling salt on his soup without tasting it. He didn't taste it, but he started sprinkling. Okay. Then later lunch was over, and nobody spoke about the letter of appointment. They shook their hands and they parted away. And later, okay, I'll be in touch with you, he said. And Again later, after returning to the office, the chairman informed the HR that that particular candidate can never become a CEO. So he didn't want to hire that particular person. He said that that particular candidate was rejected. Everyone was surprised. But who could question the chairman? It was chairman's decision, isn't it? But out of curiosity, I told you just now, out of inquisitiveness. What do you mean by inquisitiveness? Curiosity. This HR asked the chairman, why I cannot understand, please, why don't you please explain me the reason for the rejection? You preferred that candidate earlier, but after lunch, you changed your decision. So you changed your decision. It's all about, I am telling now, is decision making. Okay. So then the chairman, he said, what he said? So I question the maturity of the decision making ability of a person who would add salt without first tasting his food. He didn't taste his food. Before tasting the food only, he sprinkled salt in the soup. Okay. So why would a person do that? What kind of decision is that? I can understand that somebody adding salt after tasting his soup, but I cannot understand adding salt without tasting it. This just shows that his simple act that shows that he took a decision without getting his facts right in the first place. Then how such a kind of person can be the head of one organization? How can he? So how can we, if we appoint it, if we hire it, it will be a disaster for our organization. So then HR said, do such little things matter? It's just about sprinkling salt in the soup. So how can you link it? He said. So then the chairman said, do you really think this is little? No. If this is little in your opinion, then you should also be the next to go. I will even remove you, he said. So here we have to think about the moral of the chairman's message. It's very clear, because first we have you have to get your facts right before taking a decision. So if after tasting the soup, if at all if you feel that some salt is missing in that, then you can. So similarly, you have to get your facts right before taking a decision, and do not make simply assumptions, as this impairs your decision making ability, isn't it? So every morning we wake up, whether we realize or not, but we make hundreds of decisions, including when to go to bed, okay, and what clothes to wear, what breakfast to eat, and which route we have to prefer to take to the office, okay, which route will be good to go to the office, or isn't it? So why don't people take decisions? Because some people, they fear to take a decision because they fear that they'll commit a mistake or they may take a wrong decision, like that. So they do nothing, they remain inactive, isn't it? So our inaction leads to indecision, and indecision is also a decision by default. Okay, followed. Indecision, not taking a decision, is also a decision by default. So they decide not to decide. They decide not to decide. That's what it means. So the window of opportunity does not remain open forever. So you have to take a right decision at the right time. I told you in the previous class also. Even the decision may be right, but if right decision, even if taken in the wrong time, that becomes a wrong decision. The decision was right, but you have taken it in the wrong time, so that became wrong now. So indecision, we can say it is a mental paralysis which comes out of lack of confidence, or they're not committed, they're sitting on the fence, okay, whether to jump this side or that side, they are unable to take a decision. And if at all, if you want to be successful, a successful life is full of decisions only, isn't it? So a journalist was asked, a very successful a journalist, he happened to interview a very successful business executive. Then he asked the executive, what is the secret of your success? Then he said, two words only are the secret of my success: good decisions. What are the two words? Good is one word, decisions is another word. Good decisions are the secret to my success, he said. Then the journalist again asked, how did you learn how to make good decisions? Then the business tycoon, he said, one word called experience. So the journalist asked, how did you get that experience to make good decision? Again he said two words, bad decisions. Because earlier he made bad decisions, and out of the experience he gained after taking the bad decisions, he learned He learned much. He learned to make good decisions, and that good decisions are the secret of his success. Taking good decisions made him emerge successful. Followed now. So, always successful people, they take right decisions in the right time. A good worker doesn't necessarily mean he's a good decision maker. Okay, like that. Followed. I want to tell you many examples, but now because of the time factor, okay, time constraint, I can't. Okay. So sometimes you may be hard worker, but you may fail to take good decisions because but you have to live while you are alive. Followed. So opportunity uh, opportunity, you get an opportunity, but it knocks only once, and next one, I told you many times, I told you it may be the next time may get an opportunity, but it may be better or worse, or but never the same one. You can never get an opportunity earlier. What you got, the same thing can never be repeated. So it's very crucial thing, it's very important that you have to take the right decision at the right time. Once, if you make a decision, nature also conspires to help you so that you can achieve more and more. So, if you fail to decide, if you decide not to decide, then that will be a failure. Followed. Because what is not risky. You think that taking a decision is something something risky, you think. But what is not risk? Everything is risk. Everything is risk, because when people who are overcautious, they are also averse to risks, not realize that everything in life is risk. So when we were born, it was a risk. If you think action is risky, then try inaction. If you try inaction, if you don't do any action, then you see how risky it is. Okay. So investing in something, business or anything, is risky. But if you try not investing, it's twice again risky. Okay. So getting married is risky, having kids is risky, but not getting married is still risky, and not having kids is still risky. So what is not risky? Everything in life is a risk only. Everything, nothing in life. There is nothing in life that doesn't have any risk. Okay. So the only thing is you have to be responsible. You have to be, and responsibility and prompt action, they always go together. You have to always take a courageous stand, and you have to resolve challenges. Rather than being indecisive, you have to be like that. Followed. Because if you don't take any decision, they are just living dead bodies only. So we need to learn to live by this philosophy. We need to learn to live by this philosophy, taking decisions. Followed. Now moving to the next slide. Okay. So here I am giving an assignment. I think I have discussed much about what is meant by problem solving skill, how to define a problem, how to understand a problem, how to analyze a problem, how to break the problem into small steps, and how to tackle with each and every step, and finally how to learn the problem solving skill, and what is the importance or advantage of, or what are the benefits of the problem solving skills we have discussed, because it will make the impossible possible. It will increase your confidence if you once learn that life skill called problem solving skill. And the same thing also with the decision making also. You have to always tend to take a decision at the right time, right decision at the right time. Okay. So now here I have given you an assignment here. I'm giving you. So when you face a problem, what do you do? I want you to write. What steps do you take before making a decision to solve a problem? And the third thing is, describe a situation in your life when you you might have faced some problem. Then what that situation I want you to describe, and how you resolve that problem with a creative approach. So to all these three questions, I am expecting some answers from you. Now moving to the next slide. The problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. Followed. The problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. Do you understand? Okay? This is also a popular quote. Followed. Okay, good luck. Now, because we are living beings, always life's journey will never be smooth. We face many obstacles, many barriers, many problems. Because I told you in the beginning, okay, if you don't have any problems in the sense, you are no more. Okay. So, but the only thing is learn some problem solving skills and decision making skills so that you can lead a happy and successful life. and I hope you are that courageous enough, that talented enough. Okay, and I told you to make a prayer. Give me that courage. And things which can be changed, you try to change, and things which can't be changed, you differentiate, and you simply graciously you accept them. Then problem can never be a problem, isn't it? Okay, so good luck, children. I hope we have discussed much about problem solving and decision making skills. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed today's class. Thank you for your patient listening, and I'll meet you in the next class with another topic under life skills. Followed? Okay, good luck. Okay, thank you.